Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner, and this is a review of Married at First Sight Season 10. I know I haven't reviewed my upstairs there, he gotta be a music producer on the streets of the streets because anyway, first things first, if you have not done, and since he's making music, I'm not gonna be quiet, okay? So, first things first, if you have not done so already, please come over to subscribe to my channel and welcome JayBird, JayBird, dun 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 dun, and all that goodness and stuff. The music ain't that loud. It's just why it's late or whatever, but we gonna let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, and center yourself, okay? Center yourself. Anyway, do not forget to also like this video. You can also comment below in the comment section. You can also share this video on your social media. You can follow me on IG and or Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. If you do not see the name or my link or whatever on the screen, you can always hit the description box below, because the description box always has all the information. Okay, everything you may need about me, an email address, how to contact me, how to follow me somewhere. Okay, all of that is where in the description box. Okay, and let's move on from there. So we're gonna kind of go couple by couple. This should not be that long. Katie and Derek, okay, I'll make a little bit bigger. Katie and Derek, this was the best picture I could get of them two sitting around there as a couple, okay? And I feel like this is a representation of Katie. Katie's face is how I feel about Katie. You see it? That's how the weirdness or the disdain on her face is how I feel about KT, okay? A decision that Katie and Derek decided to stay together. They wanted to make it work and all that. You know what I'm saying? She brings up like when they got back, once the show ended, and they had got a new place together, signed a whole year lease and all these things. She then said, he went back to, working in school or whatever, like regular life. And, we did not have much time together in our new home and everything. And I felt left out. Okay, now I talked to him about how I felt. He then said she did talk to me about that or whatever. So I started to prioritize time with her, whatever, doing this and doing that. A little date out here, date out there. And even her favorite sheets that she loved, I went out and got her favorite sheets so that she would know that I care about her and everything, okay? And so, I'm like, well, that's really, really nice. Now, from what she was saying, she was wholeheartedly blaming him for any issues they had. Everything she was saying, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. And I felt like this and I felt like that. And I feel like, I'm like, why is she blaming him so much? Like she's making him out to be like a horrible person. But watching the season, she was a fucked up person too. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, she brought up how, she'll be the one initiating sex. And how, she, would be the one to bring up difficult conversations on it. So she's like, I was doing this. I did like these two things. But he was doing all these things wrong. Okay? So we then find out that they are no longer married. And I think we knew that because they kept saying at the beginning, well, when the season started airing, how only one couple was together, at the end of it all. So I was surprised when they stayed together, as of decision day. I figured, oh, maybe people broke up during the show and then they got, back together during decision day or whatever. But nope. They broke up as well. Okay. So Derek then says, well, Katie told me one day that she wasn't happy, and that we should just be friends, to see how that works out. And this is after they had signed a new lease. He said it was about 2 weeks after they had signed a new lease to this new apartment and everything or whatever. He said, so she said we should be friends or whatever. And he like, then from there, a few days later, she then said, well, I think we should sleep in separate rooms, but they still living in the same house or whatever. So he then, like a week from that, they went on a trip together to Nashville. Okay, they went to Nashville, and he said at that point in time, he asked like, well, like, do you want to like separate? Like, is that what you're doing or whatever? And she said, well, yes, I do. Okay, he said, so they then had to find people to take over their lease because again, they had just signed a year lease in this new place or whatever, and then they, so they were still living in the house together. After she told him that she wanted to separate, they were still living together, and they found somebody to move in. So, he's like, Katie made it really easy for me not to fall in love with her because I did get hurt. He then said Katie admitted to him that she had an affair with her ex, the same ex that she had been talking about the whole season, who did not want her when she was single, didn't want her until she was getting married, did not want her until she was married. Katie cheated on Derek with that man who she kept whining about, on her wedding day. Okay, I'm like, mm. She then said, well, me and Derek, we hadn't had sex in about a month or whatever, we had no connection, we were never going to build up to being in love, I knew it from the beginning. And he like, well, why did you say yes on decision day? Well, because I was going to try to make it work. If you knew from the beginning that he wasn't the one, y'all would not fall in love, why did you again do the whole 8 weeks or whatever and then decided to stay together if you knew it was not going to work? Katie was trying to blame Derek and bring up reasons as to what Derek didn't do as an explanation to why she cheated. No, you're a cheater. You cheated. Period. And I'm not saying Derek is perfect. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is she was actively trying to make excuses for the reason of her cheating. Well, we didn't have sex, okay? I felt like from the beginning we wouldn't be in love, And the reason I, cheated and made it be over because I was done. No, you cheated because you cheated. And then he also said that he had heard from multiple people, okay, Cass and other people, that she had actually slept with the ex during taping. Okay, now she denies it, and now she's all mad. Well, whatever, I'm saying, I don't care. And then, this is the bad part. She cheated with old boy, and she not even with him. And she then said it was never an emotional connection with me and my ex. It was never that. It was just a physical connection. It was just sex. Katie's a piece of shit. Okay, mainly because she reminds me of Matt a little bit. Okay, Matt from last season. I mean, you came on this show to supposedly be married, but during the marriage you're acting as if you're trying to make it work, but then after the fact, after you done messed up and cheated and got caught, now all of a sudden, well, I wasn't really in it, we wasn't gonna really be in love, and all these reasons as to why you cheated. You're a cheater. You wasted that man's time. The minute you knew, you did a Zach in a better way. You pulled a Zach, okay, got married and thought it wasn't gonna work or whatever, and just did whatever you wanted to do. Girl, I felt me and Derek were done, so I did what I did. You cheated, you heifer, okay? And that's all we're gonna get right now for these two. Derek, has moved on. They're divorced, and they wished each other well, and they moved on, okay? Next up, we have Meka and Michael, and I felt like this picture did them, because this is the definition of their marriage. Two mean-faced people, being mean-faced to each other. Whether he was being mean-faced a liar, or she was just being mean-faced Meka, they were still two mean-faced people. And I'm like, y'all heard it's so weird, because that's not how they were before they got married, and now they married. And I'm like, y'all, this girl, and I ain't like her weave. I ain't like it. I ain't like the front of it. Like, it don't look bad, but it didn't look good either. Anyway, so we know they did not decide to stay together at decision day. Okay, they had issues the whole time. I feel like Meka never fully trusted Michael ever since the honeymoon thing, when he allegedly said that he wanted her to have sex with him before the 8 weeks is up, or he would not want to stay married. She still is upset because he still said he didn't say that, and she still said he did. Girl, from that moment, she has not gotten past that. I do feel like from that very moment, anything Michael said, she would question. Even if he was actively lying or actively telling the truth, she would still question if he was lying or not. So I feel like from that moment, they was doomed. They show all the time through the season where Michael is being accused of lying. Him saying how he teaches yoga, him saying how he got a new job as a principal, him saying how much money he made, all these things where he was, basically allegedly lying. Okay, and Kevin then say, so, do you teach yoga? And he says, yes, I teach. Well, where do you teach yoga? Well, I teach yoga at my school to my students. Well, it doesn't look like you do yoga. And I'm looking like, I think that's an asshole thing to say. You know what I'm saying? Everybody may not do yoga the same. He could be a new, a beginner yoga teacher for people who don't really, you know what I'm saying. You don't have to be an expert yoga person to teach yoga, but I feel like he may not teach yoga. But you know what I'm saying. He is sticking to what he said he do, and Mika's sticking to I don't believe him, and it's crazy looking back at the season and all the inconsistencies that he would tell me that I knew was not actual or factual. Now Michael brings up like I feel like because she said she felt hurt, and he said I don't think she felt hurt. They like when you see the season, she Lee seems upset. He's like, well, I do feel like him saying all the times she felt like I was lying, there was an explanation. She just didn't believe me. And I mean, well, we don't believe liars. I'm saying now he does apologize, saying he do know that he could have been a better husband and stuff, whatever. He doesn't admit that he was lying about anything. He just admits he could have been a better person or whatever. Mika then say, looking back on the season, she also sees how she was very, very harsh and angry towards Michael, and that could have been a reason he never felt comfortable enough with her to be 100% honest. And you know what I'm saying? So she apologizes for that, okay? Because I say it's true. Michael was lying about things, but Mika was a complete bitch sometimes. And I do feel like he would lie to try to avoid having an argument with her, but he isn't a good liar. And she could tell when he wasn't being honest. And then when he wasn't being honest, she went full bitch mode. And I don't mean bitch in a disrespectful way at all. I just mean she would go off. Okay, for whether it was rightfully so or not rightfully so, she always got an attitude with him, was upset with him, and would like kind of get up and walk away. And then sometimes he would get up and walk away. They were not made to be together, period. I feel like she is too young and he is older and stuck in his ways. Okay, I think they was maybe like because she was in her 20s. I believe he was in his 30s, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think they were a good match at all. I think both of them became different people, or became who they really were when they got married. Okay, and she seemed to be very harsh when she saw something that she didn't like. She didn't have a soft approach to see what's going on. It was instantly harsh, which made him shut down, and lie. Versus she would have been a little. We as women know there are ways where you get more with honey than shit. You know what I'm saying? And there are ways we can be nice to our men and get whatever we want. And it's a way to, spoon feed him sweetness so that he doesn't even realize that he's telling all his secrets. But if you are consistently being mean and angry towards him because you're just aggravated with his lying ass, he may not be honest with you. So I'm happy that she was also able to see her faults. I do wish that he would have been able to admit more honestly that he wasn't as honest as he should have been. Okay. Anyway, there ain't no love lost between them, but at the same time, I don't see them ever hanging out in real life. Look at they look how uncomfortable they look, even just sitting there. Girl. Poor Mika, poor Michael, but I do wish them both the best in life, okay? And then we have Mindy and Zach. Girl, Jesus. I feel like Zach wore these glasses because he wanted to people think he was Clark Kent. I think he's like, if I have my own glasses, they may think I'm Clark Kent. They may think I'm Superman. They may not dislike me. We still don't like Zach. Zach is an opportunist. Zach came on this show strictly to get some kind of, shine. Okay, let's say that. Now, we know for a fact they did not even make it, to decision day. She broke up with him before decision day because he kept lying and kept messing around with her friend, okay, and lying about the relationship with her friend. Now, from the moment they got married and he took a selfie walking down the aisle, I say, I don't trust him. Because something about that felt like you were doing it for attention. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like it. It didn't seem authentic, in my opinion. Okay. Now, he still sat there and talked in circles. And circles. You got me going in circles. dun, 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 is what he got this circles, and he was just saying words and putting words into sentences that didn't make any sense. He was doing Spanish and French and Chinese language or whatever, and all of that in between. French, and Mandarin, just talking. Okay, just talking, and just saying words that doesn't mean anything or whatever. And Kevin's like, most of the time we don't know what you talking about, Zach, because you talk in circles. But let's take a look at your circles. They then replayed all the episodes where he was talking and not saying anything. He was saying a lot but saying nothing at the same time, as Mindy said. Okay, and, he then said, when I realized, after we got married, that it was real. Zach didn't say or explain any of his actions. Okay, the one thing was Zach came on this show, then said, I realized that it was a real marriage. However, he did not you never moved in with the wife. And I think it was bullshit. Zach tried to make it seem as if, I could have did better this. Now I can get that and this and that. But it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit and fakeness, if she asked me. I'm saying, he gives an apology saying, I didn't give room or I didn't give time for anything to grow and evolve. And I was wrong for that. Zach, you full of shit. You are fully full of shit. And I'm happy that Mindy ended it with him before decision day. Now, she should have ended it, when they was at the halfway point. That's when she should have been ended it. But I'm happy that she did not give him the chance to keep playing her. And then they get the decision day, and then he said he wanted a divorce. I'm happy she finally stood up for herself and said, you know what? I'm done. Okay, get your shit out of my apartment, which was number one bag. He came over for a day or two, had one little bag, maybe some socks, a t-shirt, and some drawers. He packed his little book bag, little duffel bag, and left. Girl, they got on my damn nerves. So that's all that it was with Zach and Mindy for right now. Okay. Austin and Jessica. Okay. They still married. They were together after decision day. I feel like this is what the show. This is the intention of the show, to really match people who will be a good couple. They are a good couple. And I feel like had the experts matched people better this season, y'all would not have had 4 failures and 1 satisfactory and 1 satisfactory. That ain't the word either. One good marriage. I don't care. It was just, you know what I'm saying? They both brought up how, they're still married, they never had a thought about divorcing, you know what I'm saying? While their time on the show wasn't a cakewalk, they also had their own issues, but they worked through them. I feel like they are the only couple who from the beginning took it for what it was supposed to be. 2 strangers dating and getting to know one another. They just happened to be married. And I think the other couples didn't do it that way. I think the other couples assumed it should be this fairy tale where, oh my God, we're together and we're in love and it'll be easy. And I don't think they did that. I think, they also were a good match together, but they did the work, in my opinion. And they kept private things private, but they also just, they meshed. It was what it was. They bring up how once the show ended, like the first 3 months, this was recorded 5 months after decision day. So the first 3 months after the show ended, she brought up how he was traveling a lot. Like every week he was having to travel for work, so that was hard. But, and they missed one another whenever, but they worked through it and it was fine. They brought up how much they love each other's families, how much they love each other. He even brought up how, even though it was hard for him to tell her he loved her, he felt that he loved her, but he didn't want to say it just to say it. He wanted to say it, to where she knew he meant it. Versus if she said it, he just repeated it back, which may not, have that same effect of, dang, he loves me. Like the first time she said it, that was her moment, to say it. And then when he said it on decision day, that was his moment to say it. You know what I'm saying? They brought up how, they just love one another. They love each other's families and everything. And they did sign a year lease. They want to maybe get a house later. They want to first get a dog, okay, and then maybe in a couple years, then, work at children, but they want to still continue to get to know one another. Because at this point, they've only been married for maybe 7-8 months at this point or whatever. So again, I think it's smart for them to not say, yeah, I want to have a baby tomorrow. But I do think they're like they remind me of was it Bobby and Danielle from like 2 seasons ago, who I know had a baby girl recently, whatever. That's who they remind me of. Because Bobby and Danielle also like were a couple, like meshed and matched really well, and it was awkward how well they got along. That's who they remind me of or whatever. But that's all with them too. Okay. And then we have Taylor, who is still in this bad wig. It looked like the Cowardly Lion's mane. I don't like it. I don't understand it. I don't get why she does that to her. Did she not see the front of it? Looks matted. I don't get it. I really don't get it, but it is what it is. But anyway, we see that she's there without Brandon. Brandon did not come. Okay, now I'm not surprised. Her and Brandon broke up 18 times, or 19 if you ask me, over the season. Okay, they broke up before and after the midway point. They broke up before and after decision day and all that stuff. But on decision day, they both officially agreed to no longer be married. Now, even though he came to decision day and was a complete asshole, but he had been a complete asshole all season. But I'm going to explain that a little bit more, because I'm not going to make him be. I'm going to explain it. At decision day, again, he was a jerk. Period. But he had been a jerk because I think he was over it. And when she then said, like, yeah, it was fine, we had these great moments, but I felt like, we should divorce, and he got up and walked out. And that's the last time we seen him. So Taylor, because Kevin Frazier was the host, Kevin asked her, do you see, looking back, watching that video that made him so upset, can you admit that the video you did was insensitive, kind of harsh, considering that you were a married woman? It was a video what she did where she said, how hard it's to find a man, that has this and this, and I guess I'll be a single woman forever. But she was saying that as a married woman who was still actively in his marriage. And then she said on the reunion that I felt like he wouldn't see that video because he doesn't follow me. But he said, I'm like, that the fact that she did it just to hide it from him, thinking he won't see it, so it doesn't really matter, is to me the part that's some bullshit. And she still would not, admit that, that was wrong on her part. I'm like, whatever. But she did it to lash out at him. I think she knew he would see it. I do. I think she knew someone would send it to him, and she was trying to hurt him because he had been an asshole recently. So we then find out after the show wraps, after decision day, Brandon and Taylor were arrested. Girl, so Kevin had Brandon's official story, his official statement, okay, from the court documents or whatever. He said how Taylor showed up to the bar he worked at with another man that she was dating, pushed him, and then called the cops and told the cops that he was like aggressive, or he was like, abusing her or whatever. And then, Kevin said, well, so what's your version of what happened? She gave this long drawn out story. And the reason I think she's lying, anybody that put too many details in their story, they lie. She went from, we was at one bar and this other bar, and we did this and we did that. Okay. And then he said this, and the friend, he said this and whatever. And I knew that Brandon used to go to that bar, but he had also said at one point that he would never go back to that bar. But I knew he used to work there. I knew this and I knew that. Okay. She then said we was at the bar, and he said, hey, let's go to the balcony. So she was giving too many details, in my opinion, for it to be an actual factual story. She then said, and then we were up on the bar, up on the balcony, and then, we were about to leave, but I was thirsty, so I wanted some water. So I went and got water, okay, and then my water spilled a little bit, okay, and then I had to go back and get a napkin, okay. So I went back and got a napkin, and I'm like, You have too many details for this story to be actual and factual. She then said after the water was spilling all this thing, I turned, I looked with the water in my hand and a napkin in my hand that was getting the water that spilled, and I seen Brandon talking to the guy I was with. I then walked up and said, we have to go. We have to go. Me and my friend are trying to leave. Brandon is then following us, and he's recording us. You know what I'm saying? He's calling me a bitch, all these things or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then, I was trying to talk to him. I just wanted to talk to him, you know what I'm saying? Because I was going to try to figure out how to get, like a restraining order, but I wanted to talk to him because, you can't keep doing this. She was explaining to us. She never even explained, well, why were y'all arrested? Like, why were you also arrested? Like, I get if he was arrested, okay, but why were you all? She never really explained it. She had every detail except why the cops arrested them both. She never even said he pushed me or I pushed him. She didn't even say who did anything about nothing. So I feel like she was lying, okay? Because again, if he pushed you, you would have said, okay, this happened and then he pushed me. He put his hands on me, or that would have came out in our story, and it never did. So I digress. Anyway, now they had both was arrested, was in jail overnight. And they both now have restraining orders against each other, and they cannot communicate with each other or even through like third parties. That may be the reason he wasn't on the show. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, why did she not explain why would you go to a bar that he frequent? He used to work there. I don't like that. And I do feel like Taylor could have went there just in hopes that some bullshit happened. I don't know. She did say, well, I've been to that bar plenty of times before. I even knew Brandon. That's cool. But once y'all was married, had a crazy marriage, got divorced, and then she said we were not communicating, or I was not communicating with him, even though he kept communicating with me. Then why go? If you are trying to avoid him like the plague, why go to a place you knew he used to work? If it's tons of bars, because she said it was all these bars, why go to that one? I don't get. Girl, Taylor's. I do feel like Brandon has issues at the same time. So does Taylor. So they then have all the couples together, whatever, and they ask, okay, so at the court date, because it was a 2-day court date for them two, okay, and we see that the females was all there, all the girls was at the court date, and then Michael was there. So all the girls were like, it wasn't fun, it was crazy. I'm saying Michael then said, well, I was there too, and for me, it was just interesting to see, how far they have fallen since the show started, like how bad it got, like that was kind of crazy, whatever. He said, which I agree with, there is blame on both sides, okay? Both of them has blame in this, you know what I'm saying? But they should both be able to move on now separately. I agree with that. I'm going to say this, you know what I'm saying? Because he then said, Brandon had a different story or whatever. He brought up how Brandon said, he like, I don't feel that Brandon started it. You know what I'm saying? He said, because Brandon had these pictures and video just showing that, she was there with some other guy, like, you know what I'm saying, being petty or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Meka then say, well, Brandon, at the court, you know what I'm saying, was saying how he, didn't want to be with her or whatever, but during the season, he kept on saying he wanted to make work. Meka, I feel, has this thing in her to where wherever Michael says something, she has to say something to kind of make it seem as if he's lying. Because as Michael was trying to stay out of it but give his opinion, Meka to me was trying to make it seem like Michael lying. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, whatever. They do show footage of Brandon being difficult all season, being very difficult and rude to production. And this is where I will explain what I think about Brandon. I think Brandon is not made for reality TV. I think people don't understand how hard it is to film a reality TV show, how much production is involved, how much your life is not your own during filming. And I think Brandon was not the right person for that environment, okay? What he did was not right. Period. Okay, how he treated them was not right. However, he already admitted that he was, socially awkward. He had anxiety, whatever, and he was an asshole. But again, some people are not made to be on reality TV. And Michael even brought up how the whole process with the show and the cameras is a lot. And I have heard other people on other reality shows say how you don't realize how hard it is to have cameras in your face 24/7. Brandon was not made for TV. He wasn't. And I think once he got here, he realized that because he was always aggravated because he didn't like it. But he was on the show. He didn't have any choice but to still film the show, and it showed how much he hated it, the way he was an asshole to everyone. And again, it's not right, but we have to also understand some people should not do certain things because they're not good at it. He ain't good at reality TV. He just isn't. Now, me can then say, well, Michael's going to defend Brandon, anyway. It doesn't matter what he does, you know what I'm saying? Michael will always defend Brandon. Again, Mika always has a thing in her to whatever Michael say, she wants to make it seem as if he ain't right with saying it. Now, Michael get pissed and he gets him, he walks away. Mainly because he felt like Kevin Frazier kept making him try to be the spokesperson for Brandon since Brandon was not there, and trying to have Michael defend Brandon, even if Michael did not agree with all of Brandon's actions. But he also did not want to toss Brandon up under the bus, so he was put between a rock and a hard place. And so he tells him, like, it's not fair for me to sit here and have to answer questions for a person who was not here just because I'm their friend. I cannot explain away what he did or defend him, like he would defend himself without people looking at me like, what I'm saying, oh, you defending a black man being, acting foolish or whatever. Which made Kevin say, well, I'm black too. Yeah, Kevin, but you know what I'm saying, the way you acting was a little bit funny or whatever. And I do think that Michael had every right to be pissed off and aggravated, mainly because Kevin kept asking him questions as if he was literally Brandon's spokesperson. And you could see that he was very uncomfortable having to consistently answer the questions. And every time he would say something, Mika would then say something like, well, Mika would have like a rebuttal. So at that point, it was like Mika and Michael were still kind of going at it, about something that had nothing to do with them. He like, it's not my job to speak. That wasn't my marriage. That was not my situation, even if I'm cool with him. Okay, I think Mika needs to shut the fuck up. Period. Okay, because she then said on stage, whether it was backstage or whatever, Michael would always walk away, when we would have the disagreements, he'd walk away from me too, because you difficult as hell. And he got up because he did not feel like arguing with you. And I liked how both Austin and Derek said, well, we get Michael's point of he feels uncomfortable being questioned about Brandon. He isn't Brandon's spokesperson. So when it came back out, they stopped doing that or whatever, and it was fine. So they then bring out Mindy's Asian friend. I don't know her name, okay, but that's her picture. And then she brings up how she knew for a fact that Zach and the other girl was talking or whatever, and how Zach made her think, or the girl thought that Zach was really into her, how they would be a better couple than him and Mindy, and how, Zach was supposedly gonna come visit her. And she's like, I would never talk to her again, like she's a horrible person, whatever. And I think Zach is full of shit. Now, Zach then said, well, I don't think, that's fully true. I think, it was just like a short friendship or whatever. And they was like, Zach, whatever, we don't care. She said, I think the friend was happy to kind of take something away from Mindy, and that's why she was like happy that Zach was like giving her attention or whatever. Zach is basically a piece of shit. And Mindy then said that same friend, she would possibly forgive her if she apologizes, but only because they're a group of friends and their other friends are still cool with her. But because of what happened, it puts a strain on all of them as a group. Now, this girl said, I don't have to ever talk to her again because she's a fake friend. I agree. I completely agree. If you are having a side conversation with my husband, we never have to have any kind of conversation or whatever. And I'm like, I just cannot. But again, Zach's a piece of shit. Because they then ask him if he has talked to the girl at all since like whatever day. He's like, oh, no, I haven't. But then you talk to her on this day. Well, I text her, but she didn't respond. They like, right. And you then, text her a different time. Well, no, I had one friend who had her same name, and I thought I was texting my client, Lindsay. My client, Lindsay, but it was her. And so when I texted her and said, hey, hit me up or whatever, I realized then that it was your Lindsay. And she was like, okay, Zach, it was an accident. Again, Zach is a piece of shit. And what else was it? They get a little bit into Kevin asking Derek and Katie about, her cheating or whatever. And, if if whoever on the cast had told him, if anybody wanted to like say, well, yeah, I said that Katie, banged old boy during the marriage, and Derek said, well, I had talked to them already, and I told them that I would not say their name. Now they want to, out themselves. That's on them. But I don't really care. Here go Meka. It wasn't me. I don't like Meka. I don't. Anyway, so Katie think, well, Derek was fake the whole time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really cheating because I was done. We never had a real marriage. You know what I'm saying? He like, but we were still working things out. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you admitted to cheating on the trip. Like, we was on the trip together. So why you acting again? Katie was trying to blame Derek for her cheating and making it seem as if we didn't have a real marriage. You know what I'm saying? And he was fake. But you was with him the whole time. You were the fake one. If you knew it was not real, you were the fake one because you had that feeling, not him. You did. So I don't like Katie either. Okay, I don't like Katie. I don't like Meka. I don't like Brandon. I don't like Michael because he's my too. I don't like Zach. I only like Mindy, Jess, Austin. That's really it, because I didn't like Taylor. All of them was getting on my nerves. Okay, point blank, period. I don't dislike Meka. Meka need to grow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Meka need to grow up a little bit, and I think she'd be cool. But I'm just saying. Anyway, so yeah, Derek and Katie, it's a done deal. And then we find out that Katie went on a date with Zach. After the show was recorded, before it aired, in December of last year, Katie and Zach went on a date. Zach asked Katie on a date, and they actually went. Now, Katie eventually told Mindy about it because she felt guilty or whatever. And I'm like, Katie, you ain't shit. And she then said, well, we went on a date, just to kind of catch up or whatever. But I'm saying it was before the show aired and I seen all that had happened. But you had experienced it and she had already told you how bad of a husband he was. And you knew that he was an asshole. And you still went on, even though it was just one date. Katie ain't shit. And at the end of it, Austin gives Jessica a new ring. He proposes again a little bit, asks her to marry him a little bit or whatever, and then gives her, a ring from him. And they see that's the ring right there, was really beautiful. So that was the whole, I think every season for this show, I start to review it, it gets really whack in the middle, and then I review the ending of it. So that's what this is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Do not forget to like this video, to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.